We're live. This is the SPF podcast or the fitness?
No.
It's the Fitness Business University podcast.
Always has been.
Okay. Now we were just discussing me changing up the intro. Why do you think that we should change it? It's been 40 episodes, but when you watch a TV show like The Sopranos were on for 9 years.
True.
And it was always Gandolfini driving on the turnpike.
That's a great intro.
That's what I'm saying. So the We're Live is a great intro as well. You don't change the intro.
Hey.
Any show that you watch, they don't change it every season.
Satriale's pork stores, it's a little bit more, eye-catching than you saying the same 2 words every episode. So,
But that's how you know that this podcast has started. It's the intro.
I guess.
That's the way it is. That's how we're gonna keep. I'm not changing it until you
maybe
fire my ass.
Maybe we should change your tone or something.
All right, maybe.
I don't know.
So we're gonna get right into the topic today because I think it's a good thing to we can have some leading. But today's topic is head trash.
What's that?
Exactly. So we were talking and the interesting question that you had was because we have our man Murph is here filming again because we're going live on YouTube with this.
Right.
But we were having a conversation.
We still have not figured out which way to look.
It's okay. We just do this is keep it natural. Head trash is today's topic.
So you're talking about your paper.
But I'm just reading. You said that your question was does everybody have head trash and or is it only for entrepreneurs? And I think it's something that everybody has. Now, why did you think it was just an entrepreneur?
Well, we should probably explain what the hell we're talking about.
Okay, but head trash, okay?
So head trash is a term that I first learned the term head trash from a guy named Mark O'Donnell.
Yeah.
Mark O.D. And he's our coach for GFP. So we have a few different coaches that I work with, but he's like our coach for Gabriel Fitness. He helps us grow this business. And one day after we do these long day offsites like every quarter. So it's a full day where we're planning out the upcoming quarter, and a lot of big decisions are made. There's I can't say it's stressful, but there's a lot of things you go through, and at the end of the day, your brain is just fried. And it was one particular meeting where we made a hard decision, and I started kind of telling Mark my doubts about one of the decisions we made. And he looked at me and he's like, no, that's just head trash. And I never had heard the term before. And so head trash is basically the thoughts in your head, the things that you tell yourself, the negative thoughts that come to your mind when you think that the sky is falling. When you basically decide to make a decision in your business, like do something like raise your prices, and your first thought is everyone is going to leave. That's the head trash. And so I use the term often, and I kind of introduced the term to the mastermind. And I started telling them about head trash, and I actually came up with a little acronym to battle it, and it's called an itch, right? You scratch the itch, and the itch is ignore is the I, ignore the crazy head trash, itch. And a lot of times when you have these head trash things, you have to ignore it. Easier said than done. I'm going to go over some solutions today that are better than just ignoring it, but I think that the key is first is identifying that a lot of the stuff and the negative thoughts that you have are just things that aren't really real. And I don't know, I didn't have that much head trash before I became an entrepreneur. And that was like what we were talking about. I asked you and I asked Murph and I asked Megan, do you guys have head trash? And I'm like, oh yeah. But I know I can pinpoint the time in my life where the head trash really increased.
Yeah, but I think it's just stress that's associated. Here's the way I look at it: it's stress that's associated with any kind of decision making.
Yeah.
So the time in your life when you started owning a business as a younger guy. So before that, when you were in your early 20s, you didn't have that many decisions to make. It wasn't like you had a mortgage. It wasn't like you were married yet or you had kids. But I mean, as you get older, you think the people that we have in here that even if they don't own a business, they have a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah.
And you start second guessing I think it comes with decisions. I think that's the biggest thing. When people talk about stress, it's like, am I making the right decision? I have to think about all the factors that go into decisions. So I think anybody who ever has to make a decision in any capacity, whether it's your family, whether it's your personal life, whatever it is, I think the head trash comes along with decision making. So maybe that's why you didn't think. But as you get older, obviously more decisions build up. So,
yeah.
So I think that's the main thing. Like, should I hire this trainer? Is the same as, should I take another job? Should I move to a new place? Should I ask this woman to marry me? All these things that are associated with big decisions in your life, there's going to be head trash associated with it.
But it's funny because it's been on my mind a lot, because I feel like now it's like every day I'm hearing this term. I'm hearing it, I'm seeing it in the mastermind posts, I'm seeing it in conversations.
But here's the reason why. You're helping these guys as business coaches, and you're forcing people to make decisions. So I think when you work with somebody, you're saying, look, here's what you're doing now. If you want to grow, here's the things that you have to do within your business.
True.
And it's hard. And think about how hard a lot of those decisions are making.
Yeah.
Going from one-on-one to small group, hiring trainers, hiring admins. These are big decisions that someone has to make, financially, personally, whatever it is.
I'm like a trash causer.
But you are. But I think that's why it's important that you also find ways to kind of mitigate that, because the more stuff that you're telling people, listen, you have to make these hard decisions. That's really what you do. You force people to make decisions, right? Come on, Murph. The butt fell. But the more decisions that you're forcing people to make, the more head trash people you're gonna have. So
yeah. So I was reading a book with my kids the other day.
Yeah.
And the book was, I've talked about this guy before, Dr. Daniel Amen. He was the guy that invented that brain scan that I talked about. Yeah. Well, he wrote a children's book. And the children's book was about these kids that they had a car wash to raise money for, like, to buy a pet or something like that. And they go and they get all the car wash stuff together, and they get everything together, and all of a sudden they get a few cars that come, and all of a sudden the cars stop. There's no cars coming. And all of a sudden the kids start thinking about all the negative things about why people aren't showing up to the car wash. They started saying things like, oh, well, one person his car wasn't clean, so he told all the other people not to come to this car wash. Someone saw that the weather was going to be bad, so they're not going to go to the car wash. So they started, and they called them, very interesting, which is kind of like exactly what we're talking about. They called them ANTS, ANTS, automatic negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what head trash is. It's automatic negative thoughts. As something bad happens, and you automatically think that the sky is falling is kind of like the term for it, for head trash. And so the cool thing in the book, and I read this with my kids, that what they do is to battle, and we're getting into a solution early here.
That's all right.
But they called it the superpower question. And it's like, the book has like an anteater or something like that on it. And the superpower question is that true? Or something like, is that true? Are you 100% sure that's true?
Yeah.
And that's the question you ask yourself. So if you're going to go from one-on-one to small group, if you're going to raise your prices, and the automatic negative thought or the head trash is, this won't work, everyone's going to leave, everyone's going to complain, everyone's going to be mad.
So let's get into it. What
asking yourself that question of, is that 100% sure? Are you 100% sure that's true? The answer is never yes. So it's never yes.
Give me some examples. So you just brought up a couple of good ones, but give me examples. So you've worked with all these different entrepreneurs, gym owners, right? And that's it. People listening to this podcast are in that boat. Let's make the people out there feel better about their head trash. So you hear this every day. What are the things that are commonly associated? So you said opening a new facility. What are other examples within the business that you see that really tie into this?
So a big one is they just get slow.
Slow in what way?
Slow. The leads are down. Mm-hmm. A lot of times during the holidays where their attendance isn't as good. And then I remember, so I used to have head trash when I used to walk into the gym, and I would, like, had a class at 6, and then there was nothing from till 9.
Yeah.
From 7 to 9, there was head trash. It's funny because I used to train the 6 o'clock class, and from 7 to 9, I would be the only one in the 6,000 square foot facility, and it was totally quiet except for what sounded like, you remember the old facility?
Yep,
It sounded like a leprechaun jumping around up on the roof.
I remember that, yeah.
And it was like really weird, but it was like, I don't know what it was, if it was like the wind or something, but that was it. And it was me and that facility, a 6,000 square foot facility that I was paying rent on and not making any money in those hours.
And a leprechaun on the roof.
And the leprechaun on the roof. Right. It's like, that was head trash. So like things like that. So looking around and seeing the gym, not seeing a class that doesn't have a high attendance. You get the head trash. It's like, oh, do people not like what we're doing? Are we not doing a great job? Oh, this person just terminated.
Right.
So is everyone going to follow?
Yeah.
This person terminated. This person got injured. So is our training program totally awful? Do we have to change everything that we're doing because one person got injured? This is the thoughts that go through your mind. We got a complaint. We got a complaint for being misleading on our website. Is everyone thinking that? You got one complaint about your website in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like all those things are what Murph?
Just engage the camera.
Oh, engage the camera. All right.
Break the wall. Break the fourth wall.
I got you saying don't break the wall. I got him saying look at the camera. I don't know what to do. So let me get into. So Tony Robbins talks about something called the triad.
So this is how you a system to now clear the head trash.
We're not going to clear it yet. You got to understand it more. Okay. So he talks about something called the triad, and when you think head trash, it's thoughts in your head, but it's really like emotions, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it is. We're talking about our emotions, and if you can kind of envision, Murph, if you can kind of envision this a triangle that he draws up, and there's three parts of a triangle, Tom,
This is good.
and the three parts are. What shape your emotions are your physical body,
Right.
your focus, and your language. So these are the three things that shape. So think about someone that is, their physical body, that someone is depressed, right? You can kind of start to picture what that person looks like. They slump in their chair, their shoulders are forward, they walk really slow, their voice is down like this. Right? Versus someone that's feeling good, someone that's upright, their posture is good, the energy is good, the tone is good. So the first thing in shaping your emotions and making your emotions more positive, is your physical body. So, and I'm going to talk about a couple things that I do in terms of exercise, in terms of other things, but that is the one thing that shapes your emotions. If your physical body is not right, your emotions are going to be more negative. And you're going to have more head trash. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're 50 pounds overweight, you're probably going to have more head trash. I can't scientifically prove that, right? I'm just thinking that that's probably true.
And we've seen entrepreneurs in the mastermind who come in and they're not taking care of themselves physically. Yeah. And that's the first thing that you usually tell them.
Yes.
If you, we won't say names personally, but there's been people that stood up in front of the room, and the number one issue with their business was the fact that they weren't sleeping, that they were eating like shit, that they weren't training, and that was affecting the monetary value of their business.
Absolutely.
So we have real life examples of this.
Yeah, and I think the physical body, I think I said this last week, but the physical body is the entire body. It's not just your muscles.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just you lifting weights and looking jacked. There's a whole lot more to what you need to do to take care of your body. Like you just said, your sleep, your breathing pattern, everything. So the second thing is your focus. And the term is, what you focus on is what you feel. So what you focus on is what you feel. If you focus on all of the people that are going to leave if you raise your prices, that's how you will feel. That's how you feel. Murph wants me to look at the camera. So here's an example. So I had a meeting recently, and he was contemplating raising his prices, and he was deathly afraid of raising his prices. And I think he was charging like $150 or something like that. And he wanted to change. He wanted to raise it to $157. So me being the nice business coach as I am, I was like, well, what about $179? And he looked like he had 3 heads. He started turning white. I said, all right. You have like 220 members. He had 220 members. What's the absolute absolute, I mean, this guy knew his business well. What's the absolute worst case scenario if you raise your prices from 150 to 179? I was like, give it to me, give me the worst. He said 20.
20 people leave the
Yes.
business. Okay.
20 people leave. 20 people leave. So out of 220, he would go down to 200.
Right.
So we did the math.
He's making more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you did the math. So he's making more money, even if those 20 people leave. We didn't factor in the new people coming in at the new rate, which would compound that. But the other thing I showed him was the increase in monthly revenue.
Yeah.
So if you multiply, and I kind of want to do the math on it. So Murph, do you have your calculator?
Yeah.
So the math was, so if the worst case scenario, he told me he thought 20 people.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tom, it was
179.
So it was 179
Yep.
times say 200 is
$35,000.
So then that's where he will be, right?
But if he was charging
that's worst case scenario.
150 times 220 is 33,000.
Right.
So he's making $3,000 more with 20 less people.
Right. And so that is worst case scenario. So a lot of times this stuff is not real. This stuff is not real. And if you just really look at this logically and look at the facts, so he was focusing on all those 20 people that were leaving and was blinded by the fact that he'd actually be doing better if those 20 people left.
And we see this across the board. We met with a gym owner who was talking about going from one-on-one to small group. And he was focused on probably the 3 or 4 people that would complain. And we had it was an hour conversation about this one guy who wouldn't like it. But he's been my client for 10 years and da-da-da.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody does. And we did it for a long time too. Before
absolutely.
We changed our program, we said there's going to be these 6 people, and we have 300 members, and we always focus on the 5 or 6 people we know are going to complain. But those people are going to complain no matter what.
Right.
They complain in the beginning, they'll complain in the end, they'll complain the whole time they're there. So, I mean, but it's super common.
And so a good example is, here's the thing, I'm living proof of this. So I'm not tooting my own horn, but in the Mind Body Conference, I got really, really good reviews. I got like 6 or 7 points higher than the average speaker. So I was happy with that, and I just got invited back to speak in Denver.
Congratulations.
Cool, thanks. But there was one comment who gave me, I got mostly 5 stars, and one woman gave me 1 star. And basically called me like a charlatan. Like it was bad. She like took this time to write this long paragraph. I had 50 other reviews with raving comments.
But that
Which one? I only remember one of them, Tom.
You lost sleep?
I only remember one of them. It was that woman.
Did you look her up on Facebook? You
Oh,
probably
of
went
course I
searching for her? Absolutely.
And so, but it was like, that's what I focused on. So for a second there, I felt pretty crappy.
Yeah.
But then you turn it around and be like, okay, let's focus on the 50 people that loved it and got a lot of value from it.
Yeah.
The third one is language.
All right. So we have physical. We have
Your
focus.
physical body, your focus, and language. Language are the words you say. Mm-hmm. So in my home, you are not allowed to say I can't. It is if all of a sudden someone gets caught saying I can't and they catch themselves,
It's 100
the
push-ups.
look on their face.
Push-ups.
Yeah. So what we say is, and from my kids from they were 1 year old, I will chime in if they say I can't, and I will say, what did you say? And then they will respond with, I can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. So it's like a phrase, a tool. But the words you actually say to yourself and the words you actually say out loud, listen to the things that you're saying. And those words shape how you feel. If you speak, and all the things you speak about are the sky is falling, all of the things that you speak about are worst case scenario and this is going to happen and that's going to happen, that's how you're going to feel.
Yep.
So listen to the words you say, and not just out loud, but what you actually say to yourself. So that triad really shines the light on those 3 things. Your physical body, what you focus on is what you feel, and then the words you say will shape how you feel. The worse those 3 things are, the more head trash you're going to have.
So let's dive into Can we break down each one and give us some ways that you combat each one of those three things? So let's start with the physical body. So what are ways that you use or that you've seen work for other people that you've coached people on to start with let's start with the physical.
So when I have head trash, and I do, and I have solutions to battle it. I don't have a solution to make it totally go away.
But I don't think you can.
The thing is too, it's how long, right? Mm-hmm. How long do you have it? That's a big one, and that's the growth mindset. We've talked about that a lot, but the growth mindset really helped me with that because it's not about not having the head trash. It's about how long you let that head trash kind of get to you.
Right.
Right, and so the number one thing that I do to battle head trash is go run. Like when I am going through a bad bout of head trash, if I get outside and go for a run, it kind of just evaporates. It really goes away. So there's something about getting moving and getting going that, I mean, if you think of someone that's depressed, they don't move very much, right? They sit down, they're on the couch, and they're not moving, right? But if those people would get out and walk a little bit more and go out and go for a jog, so one of the biggest head trash scares, and Ari talked about this.
Yeah.
Ari talked about this when we were out at Zingerman's Deli. Ari talked about it where he said, "Yeah, just go for a run," and it kind of just goes away, and it will go away because a lot of times it's not even real. So that is one, and I will say this: I do run, but also there's these like woods by my house. So there's trails, and I'll go walk there, and just getting kind of in nature, getting by trees and streams and stuff. That stuff is going to heal you and make you feel a little bit more calmer, a little bit better. So that's kind of one. From a physical body. Do you have anything that you do?
I think just exercise in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I think being outside. Like I told you this morning, I went for a walk. I walked my dog. I think just being outside. There's something about fresh air. I don't know. I don't have the science to back it up. I'm sure there is stuff out there, but yeah. But I mean, running. But I think exercise in general, whatever it is, whether it's lifting or I like to row. But I think that stuff that he said, just movement in general, clears your head.
Dude, Murph is honest today.
That's good. That's what we need. Yeah. That's what we need.
And then my friend Dustin always talks about that just walking reduces cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So I mean, when I go out and walk a lot, it really helps. So you want another one?
Another one for physical?
Well, I'll just kind of run through. I got a whole list here to battle.
Okay. Hey, I think the biggest thing is not, and this is one of the key points is that like you said, everyone's going to have stress. Look at the camera. Everyone is going to have stress, but having the strategies to combat it is the most important thing.
Yes.
Because I think that's what people look for is like a lot of business owners we talk to, and they're like, I have way too much. It's like, I have all these things. It's like, that's not going to go away. If you own a business, you're going to have a list of shit every single day.
Yeah.
Right? Getting rid of head trash, that's not the goal here. The goal is having ways to combat it. I think that's the most important thing to understand.
So the next one is I have so many examples here. I was talking to one of the mastermind guys recently, and he was telling me he was like working like 7 days a week, 7 days a week, like every day. And I was like, you can't do that. I was like, you can't just redline all the time. You got to take a break and you got to take time. So I think that if you're working 7 days a week, you need a day off. Like it's very, very hard. Most human beings can only work so many hours before your performance starts to drop, right? I think it's only like usually 50 energy hours throughout the week before your performance starts to really, really go down. So this guy was working 7 days a week. I was like, dude, you got to take a day off. And Dan Sullivan has this thing from Strategic Coach called free days. And free days are like these specific days where you absolutely do no work at all, meaning that you do no thinking about work. You do no thinking about anything that has to do with your career. The only thing you're allowed to do is things that you enjoy, your hobbies, spending time with family, and all that stuff. And basically what they say is if a thought, this is really hard, but they say if a thought comes through your mind, just let it pass. And I'm like, all right, I got to go write it down. But I will tell you this. When I have I tell you, it's hard. It's really hard. But when you have a true free day, when you really do absolutely no work, you get clear. You really do. So that's one.
Let me
actually take a day off.
Let me play devil's advocate here, because we say it a lot when we talk to these guys that are starting up in their one-man shows, and it's like we say all the time. In the beginning, you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to put in some hours. You're going to have to put in the time. So if you're not training people, then it's marketing, then it's sales, then you're on the phone. So is there? Because people out there are thinking right now, well, how often is that? Do you take a full day off once a week? Is it once a month? Is it once every 2 months? And what is the advice there? Because you're telling someone who's just starting their business and they're trying to pay their mortgage, or should I take a full day off once a week?
I think you should. It's funny because I didn't, and I wish I did. I was just talking to one of our first ever clients, who was she did our first. We had 9 clients when we started.
You're talking about
one of the 9.
Gabriel Fitness.
At Gabriel Fitness,
Okay.
one of the 9. And I was telling her about how on Sunday, I would work Monday through Saturday, 6 in the morning till 9:30 at night. I mean, you remember those days. But I would work on Sunday. I would get to the gym at 8 o'clock in the morning and sit at my desk till like 7 o'clock at night. And I'd be doing all kinds of stuff. But it's like, I don't know. I think that me redlining myself 7 days a week just made me a lot worse 2 years later.
Okay.
And I don't know how much that actual day moved the business forward. I think that if I didn't do that day, in the long run, we probably would have been better off. So I think that I just think that you have to just have some self-care. You have to kind of manage, yourself, and to make sure that you're not. This is the same thing with you, and the same thing with our coaches. That's why we spend a lot of time looking at our schedules and making sure that we're not burning people out, because hey, we have, right? I am fully responsible for. I burned you out, right? We burned other people out, and it's hard to get past that. You can, but it's hard. So I just think that if I had to say, taking a day off is
So would you say that having, because I know you've gotten much better with organizing your time. So is organizing your daily time, does that make it easier to take days off? Because I think does that coincide? Because once you're not going to stress out as much about the marketing and sales if you're more organized on the days you actually are working.
Yeah.
So does that coincide?
Absolutely. I mean, if the more organized you are, and the more in control of your time, and the more of a grasp that you have of the most important things, that's really the most important thing, is you knowing what are the few things that create the biggest result.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all try to kind of major in the minor things, and if you can really be a master at finding out what you're best at and what you should be doing. Now, here's the thing. A lot of the people listening to this podcast, you're probably doing everything yourself. So it's kind of hard in that situation. But as you grow and as you go further, you have to start figuring out what you're best at and then do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's next?
And the other one is taking vacations.
Okay.
Right? I mean, I think that is, and here's the thing, after like what happened, with my dad, it was a long time before I took a vacation. It was hard. And I felt it. I felt me not getting away. And even, and I'll be honest with you, like for me going away is not really a vacation because we have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
So Vanessa and I we're going to take a trip to go to Denver. We're going to take a few days without the kids.
For the mind body?
For the mind body thing. And so we're going to stay after the thing. We'll take a few days. So, but I feel it. I feel like I need it.
Now, when you're on vacation, you're not working at all?
So
I want to ask you, do these count as off days? Do you block out time?
Yeah.
I know you still do some work and stuff.
Ideally,
so how do you manage that? Because that's an important question. I think, like we said, for someone who's just opened a business to say take 5 days off, they're going to think like, I can't do it. It's impossible. Yeah. So do you budget your time on vacation? You're going to work for 2 and then chill for 22? Or?
So when I was on vacation recently with the kids, and again, that's a trip, not a vacation, and I love it. But it's not really that relaxing to go run around Disney and Legoland. But I woke up really early in the morning. We were on West Coast time, so I was like up at 4 every morning. And I would pretty much get up and do like 2 hours of work before the kids got up, and then I'd be done for the day. So that was very helpful to me to kind of it allowed me to be able. But like I said, if Vanessa and I go to Colorado, if we were going to go to the Bahamas for 4 or 5 days, I would work really, really hard to completely shut it down.
I'm gonna
Completely shut it
I'm
down.
gonna hold you to it.
I mean,
I'm gonna hold you.
I said
that's on video now.
I said I would work really hard at it.
Yeah.
I didn't say I
No,
would.
but I think that's an important thing because I think a lot of people that we talk to are like, there's no way I can do that. But you're saying it's okay on vacation. Take an hour, bust your ass for an hour in the morning.
I learned that from Pat Rigsby. Pat Rigsby told me that he gets up early, does a little bit of work, and then boom goes in.
But that'll help clear the head trash. Where it's like you can't sit on the beach and relax if you're thinking I have to send this one email, I have to make this one phone call. Just do it and get it off your plate, and then all right.
There is something to be said though to prepare ahead of time
And just totally shut it down.
Yeah. And that's what I probably will try and do in Denver. So taking days off, taking vacations, and are huge. One of the things for Headtrash is learning. I really believe, and we talked about learning for energy that last week, but I'm looking, Murph. And but I think about, like, let's say you have a lead problem, right? You have a lead problem and your marketing is slow. There's not enough leads coming in the door. When you have the head trash of we don't have any lead flow, we're not going to make it, blah, 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 blah. Let's say go and listen to our marketing podcast, or go pick up my marketing book, or go listen to a Dan Kennedy video or something like that. In that hour that you will empower yourself to learn more about marketing, you will instantly feel better. And you didn't change anything. The only thing you did was you learned and you gave yourself a tool, you gave yourself a resource, you just shifted your mindset toward focusing on you're going to go out of business because your lead flow is down versus I just learned something about lead flow that I can now improve and empower my business. Nothing changed. The situation did not change. You still have a low lead flow.
Got it.
The only thing that changed was you shifted your mindset because you learned something. A great book to read is called Learned Optimism. Put this in the show notes, Murph. Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman. He just talks about how to focus on the positive of things and not get
It's not easy.
very pessimistic. No, it's not easy at all. But it's a good book. It's a really it's a quick read.
All right. Anything else?
I think we touched on this. I talked about the superpower question already. Asking yourself, are you 100% sure that's true? And then the second thing is, like, what's the worst case scenario, right? Like I talked about with the guy with the price range. Like, ask yourself, if you're trying to make a big decision and you got some head trash, or let's say you're having a month where you're breaking even, or even a month where you're losing money, what's the worst case scenario? Well, and maybe the worst case scenario is you have two more bad months, and then you look and say, all right, maybe I have enough money in my savings account that we can kind of get past it, and that's going to take me to another month, and I'll have 2 more months to get prepared and get the lead flow back up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times talking through and asking what's the worst case scenario. In that case, with the guy with the price increase, the worst case scenario was a great scenario. Worst case scenario was you made more money.
Right.
So just evaluating the situation and the head trash. Here's another one. This is really important. Doing what's called a brain dump. Right, a brain dump where you actually just take a piece of paper and you take all the thoughts that are flying through your head and you get them down on a piece of paper. Your brain is not meant to be a storage device. Your brain is meant to be able to be creative, to think, to come up with ideas, to make good decisions. It's not meant to store a bunch of stuff. And that's a lot of times where the head trash comes, where there's just too much stuff inside your head.
What's the video with the brain dump?
Dean Jackson.
Dean Jackson, that's what it is.
50-minute focus finder. 50-minute focus.
Because people
finder.
ask us a lot the best way to do this, and
He does an excellent job of it.
that's the best way to explain it. But to remember on this one is you can write down I have to take my dog to the vet. I have to.
Anything.
I think people
So it's not a
there's
to-do
not like
list.
a script for
Yep.
this. It's just whatever's on your mind.
It's not a to-do list. You don't need to even take action on it. You can throw it away when you're done. There are ways that you can prioritize it and take action from it, but a lot of times I will just do it just to kind of just get it out and get it down on paper. Journaling is really good. Writing, getting stuff out of your mind. Gratitude is a big one.
Yeah.
Right? Writing down things that you're grateful for is a great way to eliminate head trash when you really think about, hey, it's that's why when we start our team meetings, right? We start our team meetings, everything with one thing positive going on in our personal life and one thing positive going on in our business. And it kind of sets the tone for, because a lot of times in our meetings we talk about problems.
Yeah.
Right? We talk about things that aren't going well. So we want to kind of start it off on a positive. And we talked about the physical body, I think overall taking care of yourself, your nutrition, your hydration. I know that when I'm eating really clean and I'm hydrated, I have less head trash.
Right.
I have less head trash when I feel really good physically. So
I think one, and this can kind of segue into, but is finding other people that are in a similar situation. Is I'm looking at the camera, Murph. It's finding other people in the same situation. The mastermind groups is a great way, because I think a lot of people in this industry think that they don't have, that they're the only ones with those problems. And as soon as we get into this group, and you'll see someone like come out with a
Misery
problem.
loves company.
Right, but you see someone say the problem, and then 10 other people are nodding their heads and smiling, and those people will have not only have felt the same thing, but will also probably have answers for you as well.
Oh yeah.
So I think being around, that's why we talk about the mastermind a lot, but that's a really important thing, is like understanding, like, you're not the only one thinking that. Everybody thinks the same stuff, and a lot of people can help you. So
yeah, and I tell you, it's shocking how often I hear this.
right.
How often I hear this. So that's why I want to make sure we did, a podcast on it. And we're not talking about, you and I have no head trash.
No.
Like we're not saying that. We're just saying that it's a normal thing, and there are ways to get rid of it faster. The thing is, you just can't let it linger.
Right.
You got to kind of just nip it and then move on. But action, there's a quote: "Action cures fear."
Right.
Action cures fear. That when you're afraid, usually head trash is caused by fear. And I can remember the times in my life where I was really afraid. When I had my third kid, bought my first really big house, took over the business, took on this big facility for the first time. There's a lot of big decisions in my life where the head trash was big, and you just can't stay there long. And a lot of these things I went over today have helped. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. People are gonna have it, and the bigger problems you get, the bigger problems you're gonna have.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go. How does someone get a hold of you? Let's talk about the website and the mastermind, and how does someone get a hold of you if they want to learn more about what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if they can download my book,
Okay.
vincegabriel.com. You can just go to vincegabriel.com and you can download the marketing book.
Okay.
And you can also, I do a free call on there, or a marketing strategy call, where I kind of get on the phone with you and help you with your marketing, and kind of work through some challenges you may be having, and see if you're potentially a fit for any of our programs that we're doing. But it's a free call, and check it out. Marketing strategy call on vincegabriel.com.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it, Tom.
Murph, you got anything? Murph's good. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.